Oh shit. I don't remember what I was talking about, but well. Everybody, I'm back for a little bit. I feel like a lot of what really goes into maturing as an empath involves being able to say, I am me, and you are you. What I do does not reflect upon you, and what you do does not reflect upon me. And whatever happens between us is merely a conversation between beings. Nothing can be all one way. It is a conversation. So if you're getting certain results that you're not liking, you should look at yourself. Because it can't always be, oh, the other person did this, the other person did that. Well, fuck the other person. Well, what about you? What do you want? What is it that you want that you're expecting out of this person that you're not getting? You're not able to have a real conversation with someone and connect on that level. That's not a conversation worth having. You know what I mean? Like, I know it sounds bad. It sounds like, oh, I can't ever talk with anyone who doesn't have, I guess that is the truth. If you go on that path of only ever giving if you're receiving, you're only ever going to be putting up with people who are willing to take your feelings into account, have empathy for you. There's nothing wrong with that. Because, no, most people aren't actually fully mentally ill, but most people are mentally sick in that way of feeling like they need something from someone else, like emotionally. So yeah, like if you don't want to be used for supply, you'll make the changes in your brain that you have to make in order to keep moving forward and live a fuller and healthier life. That's just what you have to do when it comes to being an empath. I know it's hard work. Like, it's not really, honestly, it's hard work in the beginning. Starting is the hardest part, yeah. Starting is the hardest part. Like, getting used to asserting yourself fully and confidently and calmly and not necessarily taking offense to what the outside world has to say about you, because, like, there's no point in taking it personally, but, like, it feels, I don't know, like, when you don't have those boundaries, and you don't have that bedrock of, I am me. And it's like, people are so, in the way of motive, they are completely predictable, but in the moment to moment things, you can never really gauge what's gonna happen next. And so you don't really have, I don't know, back then my SE just wasn't anywhere near, I just didn't have that shit. Like, I lived in my own world constantly because I was basically socially retarded. Like, honestly, my mom would never admit to this, but she never talked to me growing up. Like, we never had conversations. She was my only guardian. Let me tell you something. About the way I grew up. Like, I had to retreat into my mind in order to survive. I think that was the case because my mom was a narcissist who really only cared about, like, how other people saw her. So she wasn't paying attention to me when we were at home. Like, she never really talked to me. She kind of talked at me. You know, I'm just the listener. You know what I mean? Whatever I say gets bulldozed. What I say doesn't really matter. She would never admit to this because she doesn't remember. Narcissists never do. And then they grow out of it. You know what I mean? They treat you terribly, and then they grow out of it and don't remember their earlier behaviors because they're just so far away. It's whatever. But I just was ignored. I was ignored, and the only time I was interacted with was when she needed something. Okay, let's talk about her. It's like that's my whole life. Talking about her, listening to her cry, listening to her bitch about stuff that's going on in her life. I keep all my problems in because I know that she's not even, she doesn't care. I know she will pretend to care, but I know within the depths of my soul that she does not have the capacity to actually care. So I keep all that in. I'm like, I can't trust anybody. Nobody's on my side. Everyone is against me. That was my whole childhood because I didn't feel understood by anyone. Like, and it's like with me, all it takes to be understood for me is for someone to reach out and give a damn and try. That's all it takes. So my whole childhood, I was led to believe that this is how it's supposed to be. People are supposed to walk all over me. I'm supposed to like not be cared about. I'm supposed to be there to manage everyone else's feelings and keep my own to myself. That's what I was taught. That's how I was taught to interact with the world. And so now, you know, I'm coming out and I'm starting to actually feel alive and like, you know, at one with the world and feeling like I really belong in it and shit. And I guess I have mixed feelings about it, to be completely honest with you. It feels like having been in a cave, a really cold, dark cave for a long time, and then at some point you realize there's something not quite right about the situation. You go running out. And you reach everything. You get outside and you reach the sun and the green. You get out there and realize that life can be anything you want it to be. Life can be so much more than what you ever, like you wished, but you never really thought. And you realize how much time has been wasted. But also you're happy because like now you know, like for now, from now going on till forever, I know how dark that place is. I can't go back. And things can only get better. That's the only saving grace for me. I mean, like there's let me stop being like such a downer. There's like so much more that I have learned from all my experiences. Honestly, like I feel like the whole world is starting to lean more into things like psychological warfare. So maybe it was for the best that I grew up in a home constantly on the battlefield. Maybe that's for the best that I'm prepared. But you know, I just, you know, there's always that part of me that's like, why me? Or like, why does it have to be this way? Why do people have to treat each other so badly? Why do people have to treat themselves so badly? Why do people just sometimes naturally not have the capacity to care about themselves or others? I mean, and like, because you want so badly things to be your way, for people to care about you, that you lose sight of the fact that like, things are just the way they are. You know what I mean? And I guess like coming to the understanding that things have to be this way because, and you understand because, you know what I mean? Things kind of perpetuate themselves. If one piece of itself left, the whole thing couldn't exist. So if I am to be resentful or regretful of the life that I have lived from the time I was a baby to a young adult, I would be denying myself my very identity, because that's me. I made those choices, and I think all this one mumbo jumbo that an INFJ or an unhealthy empath or an unhealthy INFJ tends to fall into. We fall into that so that we can try to take control, because we feel so out of our depth when it comes to everything around us. We feel like we need to understand it. But the only real responsibility that we have in general is to understand ourselves, because the more you understand yourself, the more you can understand the real world. Like, the key is you. The key is always going to be you. You can't fulfill yourself through other people. You have to fulfill yourself first. And then everybody else might receive something. But it's like, when you're doing it the opposite way, you become resentful. But that's the way most of us are taught to relate to the world. It's just because we're naturally born with this capacity to be empathic and put ourselves in the shoes of someone and say, I am you. I am you for a second. For that little bit of time that you're feeling all of these feelings, and I'm there with you and I'm feeling your energy. I am kind of you. And so it's like when you grow up with that kind of energy inside of you, and then when the world says yes, like, overusing that ability is how you relate to the world, because they, like, the way in which you grow up forces you to be using it in this way so that you can receive some type of supply. And that's like it's I hate that word, because it's like, it's dirty to me. Because supply, like, that's what you thought was love, but it's not. It's that thing that you think is gonna sustain you, but you're always going to need more of it. You're always gonna crave more from another source, because it is damn near empty. It is empty. It is empty. If you decide that you're gonna live off of that, you will become a black hole. I don't want to be that. I don't. I mean, like, honestly, I don't think us empaths can be that. And I think that's the point, that we want so badly to not be that we eventually find a way out. But, I guess, like, because you feel them, you feel how badly they feel. Sometimes I wonder, is it truly us feeling them, or is it our feelings about their feelings? Like, that's what I felt a lot of times when I would help people when I was in that really unhealthy empathic state. I'm not taking all their facts into account, you know what I mean? I'm just like jumping. I'm jumping to a conclusion based upon what I feel is safe, what I want, what I need. and I'm not really thinking about them. Because, and when it comes down to it, it's like, if someone doesn't feel like they need help, if someone is asking for help, but they're showing that they don't want your help, and you keep giving it to them, when someone shows you that they don't want your help, they don't want your help. But you feel them. You feel them trying to grasp at something. And you grasp onto that because that tugs at your heartstrings. And you try to like lean into that, and maybe I can fix them. Maybe I can help. But you can't help. Because they don't want help. They want your supply. They're just trying to survive. They're sharks. And I don't know. I don't know if I blame them for the way that they like how they can't help it. I can't help how I am. I should stop trying to change them, change myself, change how I respond. Because I don't owe them anything. They'll try to make me feel like I do. I feel like unhealthy empaths have a lot of guilt. Just guilt about like, I should have done this, I could have done this. About like things like the world, you know, like having just having the world on your shoulders. When you feel that way, when you have the world on your shoulders like that, of course people are going to take advantage of that. They're going to see how much you care. And they're going to use you right up because, I mean, you're chum. They're a shark. They don't really care about you, but they're willing to act like they do care about you in order to get more supply from you. And on some level, you kind of see that, but you're willing to look past that in order to try to help. They don't want your help. The truth of the matter is, the unhealthy empath is trying to help themselves through the BPD, NPD person. Once they come to that realization that, oh, I could never fix you. You extremely unhealthily minded person, I could never fix you. I'm starting to think maybe if I can't fix you, obviously I probably can't fix anyone else either. I gotta focus on me. I am who I need to come to terms with. I am the bad guy in the situation. Not like, and you're the bad guy in your situation. Regardless of mental illness, we're both adults. We made our decisions. We did what we did. And we both need to take personal responsibility for what we did. I gotta learn to walk away. When I love somebody, but I realize that I cannot fix them, I can't fix their problems, I really can't help because they don't need help. Honestly, they don't really need help. Someone who doesn't want help doesn't really need help. That's the thing. If you don't feel like there's anything wrong with you, for all intents and purposes, there's not. Yes, us empaths are drawing in these narcissists. They're here to teach us a lesson. The lesson that we don't need them. And we would never need them. We have so much of ourselves to love that we're overflowing. And we should be giving that to people who are going to give something back so that we can keep the cycle going. And not giving it to people who are just going to take and take and take because that's all they know how to do, regardless of whether or not they know they're doing it, regardless of whether or not they're trying to hurt you. You need to realize that you're being hurt and step away from the situation and reevaluate how you're interacting with the world. Maybe start from square one and rebuild the whole thing. That's what I do every time my world comes crashing down. I just start from ground zero. And I feel like it works. I feel like every time I have a new iteration of myself, I love myself ever more. Because I realize that who I am now could only have come out of who I was. And the realization that you have changed out of what you were gives you hope for the future. I can change again. Whenever I feel like I need to or want to, I can do that because I did it before. It's fine. It's cool. We can keep this thing going. And that's all we have to do. That's our only real responsibility to ourselves, is to keep getting better, keep this thing going, keep getting better at whatever it is you're doing. That's the animal life. We are animals, y'all. Let's just fully embrace that and realize that, like, us humans, we're filling these niches. We're here. We're interested in the world around us in ways that affect things in the natural world. Do you understand? Life is magic. Actual magic. I wish for a world where people would embrace that. That's an interesting world right there. People now are fucking boring as hell. Like, nothing happens because everyone's so repressed. Or maybe life just is boring. I don't know. They say, like, you want a boring life. That means it's been good and peaceful. But I don't know. I think throughout my life I've kind of been a glutton for pain. And I think a lot of empaths will agree with me when I say that.